So here goes with another movie review from 1961. This is The Misfits. It's directed by John Huston, screenplay by Arthur Miller, based on The Misfits by Miller. It's produced by Frank Taylor. In the cast, and it's a very, very formidable set of actors and actresses here. 5 in all that I would describe as sort of lead characters. Clark Gable plays Gaylord Langland. Marilyn Monroe, in probably one of her best performances, as Rosalind Tabor. Montgomery Clift plays Piers Howland. Thelma Ritter is Rosalind's friend, Isabel Steers. And Eli Wallach chips in as Guido. He's a friend of Gaylord's. There's a few other cast members, and that'll be in a slide as always. This is very much a cowboy film of sorts, based on Miller's book. The notion of a cowboy metaphor for folks that are left behind following progress. And it's set in Nevada near the desert in the 50s. Divorce is a very easy process and a choice made by many. And with expanding this notion of divorce, it sort of suggests that as soon as issues come about, they take a quick way out, which is very easy in this part of the world. The 5 main characters I've referred to are all rather sad figures, vulnerable. They have had tragedy in their lives and are broken and damaged. The film begins with Rosalind with her landlady Isabel, and they're getting ready to travel to the courthouse where Rosalind is about to get the seal of her divorce. Outside, Guido is in a breakdown truck, and he arrives outside Rosalind's apartment block. And they exchange pleasantries as Rosalind and her friend Isabel leave. Later, after the divorce proceedings are complete, Rosalind, with the marriage ring now removed from her third finger, goes with Isabel to a bar called Harry's Crib. And they run into Guido, who is with his mate, Gay Langland. Guido and Gay make a suggestion to the girls to go to a retreat, a house out of time that Guido owns. The place is serene. They all chill out and get drunk. And what we see is a bit of a picture postcard of their lives. Guido recalls his heavily pregnant wife dying at the premises and the shock he felt. But the whiskey, of course, is everybody's friend. Gaylord is constantly trying to serenade Rosalind, and we see dancing, and Rosalind's curves take centre stage as she dances with Guido. Gaylord being particularly voyeuristic as he views her with his friend. Rosalind, however, is innocent, almost a childlike figure, and her actions and words explore this idea. Her naivety comes through as she adorns pigtails, accentuating the perception of being a child. Gaylord and Guido, meanwhile, are competing for her attention, a bit like young teenagers might do. Anyway, they go for a ride on horseback, and Gaylord suggests then that they should go to the mountains and capture some Mustang horses and trade them for cash. And Guido chips in, saying he spotted the horses from his plane. Yes, he owns a 2-seater plane. So this idea appeals particularly after they've had another one of their binges. However, the guys decide that they need another person to help, and so they swiftly move off with the girls in tow to a Dayton rodeo nearby, which is en route to the mountains. There they meet up with Piers Howland. He's a rodeo guy, and played by Clift, and he quickly joins them. His famous rodeo riding is well known in the area, although we do see his falls which curtail his work at the time. So the idea of this combination of work tracking down the Mustang horses and whiskey attracts Piers. Now Rosalind starts to show interest in Piers, so there's now 3 males trying to win her heart. A hairy ride with them plastered generates fear in Rosalind, And then we arrive at the scene where the horses are, a symbolic part of the film, as we witness the hunt by Guido and Gaylord. Rosalind gets clarity to the men's motivation, and she witnesses Gay and Guido's obsession in turning these frightened animals into cash. Rosalind's appalled at their behaviour, and she feels despair and unhappiness at the sight of these animals being tied up and taken to the auction for horse meat. Piers intervenes and lets the horses loose, and there's a tremendous scene involving Gay showing his obsession in gaining power over the stallion. He's a control freak to be sure, and a nasty piece of work. Anyway, let's turn to the acting. Marilyn Monroe, much more depth in these roles, far more than the 7-Year Itch or Bus Stop, and even more so than Some Like It Hot, which she starred in a year before. It has more depth to her character and sensitivity. She isn't just a giggling sexy blonde like in previous movies. Now the three men, of course, have a rich filmography, and they all have the ability to perform their acting skills. Having a similar motive, of course, makes one want to compare how they tackle this issue. But anyway, the Full Chase is worth watching, and that's all I've got to say really, but it's worth a look. It's an excellent movie directed by John Huston, who's absolutely superb as always. That's The Misfits, and it was released in 1981.